The end of any relationship is one of the most painful things that a human can go through. Keeping in all of those emotions can be difficult, but there are so many ways that we can express it. And sometimes in our modern day, usually it's kept fairly private among celebrities with a simple statement that's usually bittersweet but implies that both parties are on good terms. In other cases, it's been taken very public in ways that can cause more pain for everyone involved. But then there's an in-between, expressing how you're feeling through art. The most common ways to do this is through music, poetry, writing a book. But two prominent directors did it through film 10 years apart. This is the story of how Sofia Coppola and Spike Jonze expressed their divorce through film. I should also probably clarify that this is not about who's at fault. We don't know who either of these people are, but through these two films we can see how they're coping within this relationship. Sofia Coppola and Spike Jonze both met on a music video set in 1992. Soon afterwards they started dating, and after 7 years, they got married in 1999. 4 years later, in October of 2003, a film called Lost in Translation would release. And then 2 months later, in December, Spike and Sofia announced that they were separating. Off the bat, people were already speculating if Lost in Translation was Sofia Coppola's way of venting, noticing patterns in the film's story. Lost in Translation centers around Charlotte, played by Scarlett Johansson. She's trapped in a hollow marriage with her husband who does music photography. And funny enough, like I just mentioned, Spike Jonze was known for doing his music videos at the time. The film makes it clear that next to her husband, she feels inferior.
Oh, you gotta go. Oh, yeah.
Bye.
What do you do?
I'm not sure yet, actually.
She's in a country that she's unfamiliar with, surrounded by people who speak another language from her own. Her voice is lost in translation. Even when her husband is physically present, he's emotionally missing.
God, it's so good to see you.
Yeah.
So how long are you gonna be here?
Well, we're here for a week. You know, I'm gonna go shoot in Fukuoka.
But on the trip, she meets a man named Bob Harris, played by Bill Murray. Who gives her a different perspective on love. You can notice this shift in her, like she's happy, she can actually be herself, and she's with someone that cares about her. And this is the moment that she's able to open up about how she's feeling.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to be. You know? I tried being a writer, but I hate what I write.
She also asks a pretty significant question to him.
What about marriage? Does that get easier?
That's hard. We used to have a lot of fun.
Exactly 10 years after the divorce was revealed to the public, in December of 2013, Spike Jonze released Her, a film about a guy named Theodore, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who lives in this futuristic dystopian Los Angeles city that's also San Francisco-esque, and he writes for a living. He's also getting divorced to a woman that he still loves. The beginning of the film shows us a man who's unhappy, lonely, devoid of color, and figuratively being snatched into the corporate world. But all of that changes when he meets Samantha.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh. Hi.
Hi.
Who's played by Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, that's an interesting coincidence. After getting to know her, Theodore appears happier and he's able to be himself around her, just like Charlotte, just running carefree. He's filled that empty void, finding someone that cares about him again. These two characters were secluded, stuck alone, just unhappy, until someone comes into their life and changes that. But it doesn't change it in the way that we expect it to. We don't get to hear that much of Theodore's ex-wife Catherine, who is played by Rooney Mara, who resembles Sofia a little, and also, ironically, she actually marries Joaquin 3 years later, so that's kind of funny. But anyhow, in this restaurant scene where Catherine finishes signing the divorce papers, Theodore flashes back to certain moments of their relationship. And we can still hear her signing, as if all of those moments are just being signed away with the marriage. And after they get that out of the way and start catching up, Catherine starts to open up about how she's felt in their relationship.
I feel like you always wanted me to be this light, happy, bouncy, everything's fine LA wife, and that's just not me.
When they start talking about Samantha the AI, Catherine says,
I've always wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone. It's perfect.
Near the end of the film, Samantha reveals that she's in multiple relationships with hundreds of people, an unsettling reminder to Theodore that she is, after all, an AI.
Are you talking to anyone else right now? Any other people or OSs or anything?
Yeah,
How many others?
8,316.
It's something that he's lost sight of throughout the film in his attempts to humanize her as a replacement for Catherine. From the beginning, he projected his own image and thoughts on who she was, shaping her in his image. When Samantha begins to embrace her identity beyond human limitations and actually starts enjoying being who she is,
You know what's interesting? I used to be so worried about not having a body, but now I truly love it. I'm growing in a way that I couldn't if I had a physical form. I mean, I'm not limited. I can be anywhere and everywhere simultaneously.
Theodore's discomfort in this thought is visible, but by the film's conclusion, he painfully learns to let her go. In setting Samantha free, he's able to let go of Catherine as well. Samantha was introduced into Theodore's life not to replace women for him or be his next partner, but as a way to help him move on from his past relationship. In the same way that Bob was introduced to Charlotte not to replace John, but to help her come to terms with her current relationship and move on down the line. These two films were made at different points of Sofia and Spike's life. Remember that when Lost in Translation was being made, Sofia was still in this relationship approaching its end, while Spike was already out of it, still grappling with a lingering void, perhaps searching for closure. Anyone who's been in a relationship knows that this is hard. You have to sort of move on 2 times. The first time is actually ending the relationship, and then the next one is moving on from it. I believe that Sofia wrote Bob as a comforting presence during a turbulent time in her life. Someone that doesn't physically exist, but who could exist as a character. Someone that helped her finally move on. Similarly, Spike wrote Samantha as someone who he believed he wanted, but ultimately didn't need. She too doesn't exist in the traditional sense, but was placed in his story to provide a sense of comfort and the ability for him to move on as well. I still really like these two films. A few years ago, Sofia said that she hasn't actually seen Her yet. Watching something that's sort of hinting at you for 2 hours is probably not a comfortable sit through. But it seems like the two of them have moved on, and out of it we got 2 incredible films that contain some of the most incredible scenes, dialogue, and shots in modern film.